Hi everyone and welcome to another video about the Steam Deck. This time I want to find out how good some different racing games run on this system. I'm a bit into racing games, especially like rally games. First things first, this is the 64 GB Steam Deck and I will load every game from a just basic micro SD card so you can get an idea about the loading times from the SD card as well. And I've running the latest operating system of SteamOS. Basically, I'm on the beta channel here, as you can see, and yeah, I'm on the current version, so your mileage may vary if you're on a newer version. So let's get started with the first game. So the first game I have here is Dirt 4. It's a little bit older, I think, but it's still looking pretty decent graphics wise. So here you can see the startup time. Again, everything is from a micro SD card here, so you can get an idea of how long it takes. I think it's pretty decent. It's really nothing to worry about too much. So now we are already in the game basically. I'll just quickly check. I think I have the frame cap. I will disable this. So I will unlock everything so you can get an idea what we could achieve FPS wise. So for the settings, I'm graphics wise using a custom preset, but most of the stuff is on high. I opted medium for shadows and also for trees because I had some issues holding 60 FPS in the woods basically. Everything else is mostly from the high preset. And video wise, it's the native resolution. Unfortunately, FSR is not feasible because there is not really 540p or another resolution. That's a little bit unfortunate, but that's what it is. So we have to run in native resolution. I'm using 2 times MSAA, so it will look a little bit less edgy, and 8 times anisotropic filtering. And I will just go in here and start any event. Currently not too far into this game, so let's just choose any event. And let's see how long it takes. So now we can start a stage here. You can see it's holding 60 FPS pretty good here. I will start a race. So I think we are not even fully utilizing the Steam Deck right now, and we are having 60 FPS, and I think personally the game looks pretty decent, and also like it controls pretty decent with the 60 FPS. It runs really well. You can control it really nicely. And yeah, I think for like this game, for this rally game, if you want to play it on the go, it's definitely playable. Maybe you will get some dips below 60 FPS, but as I mentioned, that's usually just in the woods, and we are on basically high settings. So if you want to save some battery life, so you can even opt for medium or low settings, and I think the game will still look pretty good. Yeah, anyway, unfortunately, that's it. Let's move on to the next game. So the next one is WRC7, also the rally game. Unfortunately, as far as I saw, the newer titles are yet not compatibly with the Steam Deck. So yeah, I'm not sure if they will run because I haven't bought them yet, so I can't tell. Maybe you can tell me in the comments if you used it on the Steam Deck. As far as I read, there are still issues detecting the controller and so on, but in WRC7 everything seems to be fine basically. I hadn't got any issues, there was no tinkering involved or anything. I just downloaded and basically starting the game. And I think it also runs pretty decent, as you will see in just in a second. So let's just look at the settings quickly. And I'm currently for battery reasons I was on 540p and using FSR to upscale, but we can now also go to full resolution if we want to. And in graphics wise, I'm on low. I will now try to opt for high because I think we could get there. And let's see something regarding VSync. I will try to turn it off. Yeah, so now it seems to be uncapped. Let's see. Okay, we are already dropping, so probably the settings are a bit too high for the deck. I will go into a stage and let's see how far we have to tweak it. So as you can see, I'm now in the stage, and interestingly enough, we're still reaching very high frame rates. I will drive along a bit and will also show you some B-roll in case we are dipping. I think, yeah, it's dipping a little bit, so we may have to opt for a little bit lower settings if we want to hold 60. So let's may try to tweak it a little bit. I will now here in the stage I'm at 50, so I will try to tweak it. So of course we would have the option to go to 540p. That would be one solution to the problem, I think. Yeah, we are now at 75. But I wouldn't do it. I basically would stay at the full resolution if feasible, and maybe we are just opting for the basic medium preset. And I think hopefully we will get to 60 with this one. Yeah, a little bit below still, I think, sometimes. It's a little bit hard to drive and look on the frame rate as well, sorry. Yeah, we are dipping still, so maybe let's try to use the post-processing and use the medium preset, which I think probably still looks fine enough on this handheld. Yeah, now it looks pretty decent. Of course, there might be some stages where you drop below 60, so like right now, when a lot of foliage and so on is on the screen, I think it will drop a little bit still. Again, you could opt to use FSR and use a lower resolution if you want to, or even a lower preset. Just for trying it out, I will go to 540p again. And now it's using the FSR, so unfortunately the game doesn't have it implemented. It's using the FSR from the deck or from the SteamOS. And now we are basically, I think, yeah, at 80, so we are basically safely above 60 all the time. And I think this would probably hold up most of the time. We are still, yeah, okay, but we are still about 60. But again, maybe I would live with some dips and use the high resolution, because as you might can see as well, you see some flickering especially on the foliage, on the trees and so on, which I think doesn't look too nice even on a small screen. So of course I could reduce the sharpening and so on, but we still have a low resolution to begin with. I would recommend to like stay at a medium preset and then, yeah, live with some of the dips maybe. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I think the game looks decent on the Steam Deck, and it, yeah, runs pretty fine if you opt for the right settings. So the next and last rally game I have is Dirt Rally 2. This is also like verified for deck. The first time I tried it with an older version of SteamOS, it basically wouldn't work really because it wouldn't connect to the servers, and basically the real career mode was this way not accessible. But fortunately, this seems to be fixed with some of the latest SteamOS updates. So you should really, if you own the Steam Deck, always check if there are any updates, because it's really some games which didn't work before might simply work after like updating to the latest version. And for me, this is with this game. Now it's basically working. I can go into the events here, into my career mode, and it takes a little bit longer than on my PC, the connecting, but all in all it works, and now it's already loading a stage. So let's see how long this will take. Alright, we are now in the stage. It took a little bit longer, I think, than in the other games, but yeah, I think it's okay, it's fine. Especially, I think the first stage will always take a little bit longer. Like when some assets are then cached, it's usually getting a little bit not taking that long. So now at 50 FPS, so we are targeting 60. So we have to maybe tweak some of the settings. Let's see where we are right now. Haven't modified anything so far. We are at the native resolution, 800p. We have 2 times MSAA and 4 times anisotropic filtering, so this would be something we could maybe reduce. Most of the settings are still on high, so maybe I will try to use the medium preset for that. Maybe we are already then into the 60 FPS range. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I will see if I can turn now. VSync is already disabled, but it doesn't seem to go above 60 FPS. So we just have to look. Alright, now it's going above 60 sometimes, so doesn't seem to work that well. Yeah, but otherwise I think performance-wise it's working pretty decent as well. I mean, it looks, I mean, for a handheld game, I really think it looks absolutely amazing. Like, this is, I think, at least like what PS4 or other like stationary consoles offer on a TV, and having this as a handheld, I think is really cool. But as you can see, driving and talking doesn't work that well. So just yeah, as you can see, rally games, we have 3 different rally games. All of them work pretty nicely, so you have a lot of stuff there. And now let's move on to some yeah, more normal like racing games on the racetrack. So next up we have Project Cars 3, and I didn't play it that much on the deck especially, but the first time I tried it I couldn't really hit 60 FPS, so I think we have to compromise in this game and maybe opt for 30 if 60 is out of the question, because I think it was limited as well by the CPU a little bit, but we will see. Let's see, I think the problem with this game was that we have to go into the config or in the graphics config before we are going into the game. So that's a bit of an issue. I'm at native resolution, having, I think, I can't really read it. Oh no, it's just window mode, that's fine. High texture resolution, and it's drop trigger, and I think we can go up to 8 times. Everything else is currently on medium, and some stuff is already on low. So that's where we currently are, and as you can see, I'm just being in the menu, I'm at 30 FPS, and I think that will get tough to hit 60, because first thing would be to reduce resolution to 540p. We have to restart the game for this. So I will try this. I will reduce all settings right now, except maybe for texture detail, because I think that's not worth it. But everything else I will turn to low. Then I will restart the game, and we will see if we get any better performance there. So I have now restarted the game, everything on low, except for textures, and I opted for 540p. But as you can see, at least in the menu already, we are already just hovering slightly above 30 FPS. I will try to go into a race, but I really think this we won't hit 60 in this game. Don't think it's possible. I think it's maybe single threading issue or something else. I can't imagine when the menu is already running that bad that we hit 60, but yeah, let's find out. Alright, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the menu has just some kind of bottleneck. We're still having about 99% GPU usage, so not sure if we will dip eventually, but yeah, I think basically it's really okay. I mean, we could hit 60. I really wasn't expecting this, to be completely honest, and especially since this game seems to look pretty decent even on the low settings, which I also didn't expect, because we really compromised a lot with the settings here. But yeah, I think Project Cars 3, it's also, I think, deck verified so far. And to be honest, if you use kind of these lower settings, it seems to work fine mostly. Really, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I think it's definitely a great experience. Even with the 540p, it doesn't look too bad in this game. I was really I'm really confused. Maybe there's some bug in the menu. I don't know, but gameplay wise, it seems to work well. So yeah, that's for Project Cars 3. Let's move over to the next one. So next one we have Project Cars 2. So we're going back in time basically, but I really like Project Cars 2 because of the realism. It's a really authentic racing game, I think. And the first thing I had, it's basically Steam says it's not compatible with the deck. I tinkered a little bit in the settings, and what I did, I switched the compatibility to Proton 702. For me, this seems to work. Again, your mileage may vary, especially if you are on a different like OS version. So let's start a game here. Yeah, so again, initial loading time wasn't too great, but menu so far works. I'll quickly switch into the options and show you the configuration. Oh no, that's just visual stuff. It's 800p native. We are at high texture detail, and I think it's a mixture of medium to low settings I have here. I will go into a race and will quickly show you how it runs. So now we are in the race. As you can see, currently 60 FPS, and we are at native resolution. Yeah, I think quality-wise, it looks really good for a handheld game again, and running at 60 FPS. I mean, of course, if you want to save battery life, you could always go a little bit lower, but that's I think that's really impressive for a handheld, to be honest. That's looks for me it looks almost like, or maybe even better than like PS4 titles, and yeah, or like this game running on the PS4. I don't think it will look any better than that. Of course, yeah, we have a lower resolution, that's true, but we also have a smaller screen. So and I think we are holding pretty tight to the 60 FPS. I just saw some minor drops if a lot of cars are there. I also think you will get maybe some drops if like weather is kicking in and you have rain and so on, and a lot of alpha stuff effects, which will basically reduce the performance a bit. Like as you can see here, sometimes we're dipping below, but again, we are at native resolution. We could go a little bit lower if we want to. And I think it's really playable with this configuration. I'm not sure why it's not verified so far. Maybe there's some other stuff as well going on. I haven't played like many hours so far on the deck, so I can't really speak if there may be some issues in specific areas or so. But like for my part at least, I think it runs pretty well on the deck. So it's really a great recommendation for a racing simulator on Steam Deck. I really like it, and it's also not too expensive to get for Steam. So the last one I have here is Automobilista 2. I had some issues playing it, especially like when braking or like when cornering. Sometimes it seemed to slow down the whole game, but this was on a different SteamOS version. So I'm now also going pretty fresh into this, so maybe let's see, maybe some of the stuff is fixed as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's using the same engine as Project Cars 2, which was shown previously, and that one ran pretty decent, except for the loading times on startup. So yeah, let's see if maybe also some of this is already fixed there. So I'm now here in the menu. Let's quickly go into the graphics. I'm on 540p, but I will try to go to 800p. Maybe we don't use MSIA right now, just let's see how it runs. And basically we reduce the pre-rendered images to 1, but basically we are a mixture of medium, low, yeah, mostly medium to low settings here. Except for the textures, which are on high, which I think is pretty decent. Alright, unfortunately I have to restart the game. Yeah, I will quickly restart and then we're back in here. So now back in the game, running at 800p, and let's just do a quick race. Um, and let's see how it fares. Can already tell you that the controls are a little bit weird at some points. I think sometimes you also should use like the mouse cursor, and also the text is, it's really small, so it's really a little bit hard to read, especially if, like right now, I'm sitting a little bit far away from the deck, so for me it's really not too great to read. But yeah, I mean it's a PC game, right? It was designed for higher resolutions and bigger screens, so that's something just you have to be aware of here. All right, let's see if we start a game. Yeah, we are just hovering about 40 FPS, so maybe going down with the resolution wouldn't be a bad idea. I think it's playable, but there is a lot of stutter really going on. I'm not really too sure if I would like play it like with this stuttering at the moment. You can, if you look at the frame times, they are like all over the place at the moment. Sometimes it's a little bit more stable, but it's really hard sometimes even to control in the curves. I will see if I can tweak some of the settings maybe, but unfortunately I think that's not possible while in game. So I will quickly go out of the game to the menu, reduce everything to low except textures, and then I will be back here. So I'm now back in the game. I've reduced everything to low. Resolution is still 800p, but yeah, otherwise settings are basically set to low. It seems to hold 60 FPS more stable right now. So far it's really, really better playable. I don't encounter any too heavy slowdowns. Now there are some dips, but it's really a much better experience. And to be honest, even on low, most of these modern games look pretty decent. I mean, I I don't feel like we are compromising too much with the settings. Maybe the other option would be to go the 540p route, so basically reducing your resolution but keeping visual settings maybe on medium. But I also think like with this configuration, if it holds 60 FPS most of the time, I think that's a pretty decent experience, and it's also a really realistic racing game or racing sim. So you have like a lot of stuff to do here on the Steam Deck, and I think these are really really great games you can play on deck here, and especially since most of them for Steam are even not too expensive. Like when you compare pricing for for Switch games, there's really a huge difference what these games usually cost. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far, and yeah, it's a really great experience as well. So as kind of a small bonus game, I have Snowrunner, which we can quickly test. This is not really a racing game. It's more like, yeah, I don't know, a simulator for like driving through mud and like delivering items with big trucks and so on. It's like a really slow experience in that sense. And in this game, I would also maybe opt for 30 because I'm not sure if you will need 60 in this game. You will see quickly what I mean when we are in the game. So I'm now in the game with my truck here, and as you can see, um, we are just hitting about 40 FPS. But again, this game is not about like fast driving and so on. So I'm perfectly fine, to be honest, with like capping this to 30. But I can show you just like if you really want to. I think we could even hit 60. I'm at 540p. I'm having mostly high or even ultra settings, so I will go to a preset like maybe low. Um, and now we are even at 60 in this game. Maybe we can even try using the low preset and now using the native resolution of 800p. And even then, we are basically almost, maybe not locked, but we are pretty close to a 60 FPS. Not always, but even on low, this game looks pretty decent, I think. Especially I saw that for this game in particular there is a Switch port, and comparing this with the footage I saw there, even on low, it looks like much better. It looks really much better, and the Switch is also running just at 30, which again I think makes perfect sense for this game. So I would opt for like maybe resolution wise you could go native and then go maybe to the high preset or so, and you will have a, I think, really decent experience graphics wise as well. I mean, even the foliage and so on, I think it looks pretty decent. I'm stuck again. And when you kept this basically to 30, it's a really nice experience. And of course, that's not really a racing game. Was just kind to show you just some other games that also run on the deck and also involve some kind of driving here. So yeah, anyway, that's that for the whole video. I'm stuck in here in the mud, and I still hope you enjoyed this kind of look onto the Steam Deck and onto the Steam Deck performance. I really think it's a pretty decent device, especially like giving the price point it starts. The hardware is really powerful for gaming, and even SteamOS is, I really thought it would struggle more with all these games which were never designed to run on this platform, and they simply, yeah, they basically just run. Most of them even run pretty decent, and yeah, most of them we also got to 60 FPS, so that's really really cool. So yeah, anyway, that's that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave some comment, and otherwise maybe see you in the next video. Bye for now.